Pakistan, a land of majestic mountains and fertile plains, is on the front lines of climate change. Scorching heat waves routinely break temperature records. In 2022, Jacobabad endured temperatures exceeding 50 degrees Celsius. These extreme events are stark warnings of a planet in distress. Pakistan's present is a glimpse into a future that awaits many. Glaciers, crucial sources of water for millions, are melting at alarming rates. The Indus River, the lifeblood of Pakistan's agriculture, faces dwindling flows. Coastal areas battle rising sea levels, threatening vital infrastructure. The very fabric of life in Pakistan is being reshaped by the changing climate. The choices we make today will determine the future of our planet. Pakistan's climate has undergone significant changes over the past century. Temperatures have risen by an average of 0.6 degrees Celsius since the early 20th century. This warming trend is more pronounced in the northern regions. Heat waves, once rare, have become more frequent and intense. The 2015 heat wave in Karachi claimed over 1,200 lives. Higher temperatures lead to increased evaporation, stressing water supplies. This has cascading effects on agriculture, industry, and domestic water use. The changing climate is exacerbating existing water stress in the country. Pakistan's rainfall patterns, heavily reliant on the annual monsoon, have become increasingly erratic. The monsoon season, crucial for agriculture, has witnessed shifts in timing and intensity. This unpredictability makes it difficult for farmers to plan crops effectively. Flash floods, once localized, have become more widespread and destructive. The devastating floods of 2010 affected over 20 million people. Prolonged dry spells lead to crop failures, water shortages, and livestock losses. The Thar Desert is particularly vulnerable to the impacts of drought. The changing climate is pushing communities in these regions to the brink. Agriculture, the backbone of Pakistan's economy, is facing severe challenges due to climate change. The sector employs nearly half of the country's workforce. The Indus River is facing reduced water flow due to glacier melt. This reduction in water availability impacts agricultural productivity and domestic water use. The intrusion of saltwater into coastal areas threatens agricultural lands. The dairy industry is particularly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. The impacts of climate change in Pakistan extend far beyond the environment and the economy. Millions of people, particularly those living in poverty, are facing the brunt of these changes. Climate change acts as a threat multiplier, exacerbating existing inequalities. Women, children, and marginalized communities often bear the disproportionate burden. Displacement due to climate-related disasters is a growing concern. Floods, droughts, and sea level rise are forcing people to leave their homes. Pakistan's climate crisis is a stark reminder that climate change is a present reality. The country's experience serves as a warning to the world. Pakistan is taking steps to mitigate climate change and adapt to its impacts. The country has committed to generating 60% of its electricity from renewable sources by 2030. However, these efforts alone are not enough. Addressing the climate crisis requires a global, coordinated response. Developed nations have a moral obligation to support developing countries like Pakistan. This includes providing financial assistance, technology transfer, and capacity building. The time for action is now. Let us work together to create a just and sustainable future for all.